Okay, let's see here. Hello? Is this working? Is this working? Okay. Alrighty, so I'm just gonna wait a moment before I have some people come in. Let's see here. I've never really streamed before, so it's gonna be a little weird. mm. uh, Give me a second, I'll get started. I'm just trying to make sure this call goes well. Let's see. Okay. We're gonna start now. Good old road trips, full of promise and ripe with potential for adventure, soul-searching, and incredible scenery. Or at least that's what you thought before the novelty wore thin. As of now, your legs are cramping up. You've exhausted your travel playlist 2 times over and your stomach is begging for something to eat. On top of that, you're pretty sure you're lost. Driving through Oregon paints a picture of trees, trees, and more trees, especially on the endless winding roads that you're taking up north. All that breaks the pattern is a sign that zips past with words that you're just able to make out. Gravity Falls. The road continues on, giant redwoods looming on both sides. You find yourself anticipating something because you drive on. You can feel it. Something strange is bound to happen here. Something weird. And that's when it happens. Your car picks up speed. Oh boy. The change came out of nowhere, and you quickly put your foot on the brake, but horrifyingly the car seems to be driving on its own willpower. Trying to stay calm despite the panic welling in your chest, you pull the emergency brake, only to find that the car resists and keeps moving forward, like something is pulling it. The car begins to rattle, and wheels screech against the country road, and you're screaming until... crash. Oh shit. Oh boy. There's smoke. Why is there smoke? You cough, fumble for the door, and manage to unlock the lock just before the door is wrenched outward from your grasp. Something lands on your shoulder. A hand. Are you alright? Oh, it's Ford! A man stands at the open car door. His hand on your shoulder leaves to tilt your head up, and he pulls a flashlight from his coat, shining it in your eyes. 2 blinks, and he lets your chin go. His eyes dart over to the rest of you, looking for injuries. Still stunned, all you do is watch. What's your name? I'm just gonna do Deb. And your pronouns? She, her. Deb, I'm Stanford Pines. Ford for short. I would shake your hand, but you look shaken up enough as it is. You seem fine as far as I can tell, but you shouldn't head back out there anytime soon. Where on earth were you driving in such a hurry? You open your mouth to explain where a voice calls from inside the house. I can't do a stand voice to save my life, I'm sorry. This better not be one of your experiments again. I've had this place rebuilt too many times here. It's Stan. The owner of the voice walks out of the house, stops slack-jawed at the side of your car and the side of, you're guessing, his house. You must have hit your head earlier because you swear you're seeing double. Sweet Moses, Ford, you've done it this time. Oh my god. What? This had nothing to do with me. I was testing my magnet gun and it must have pulled this victim of circumstance into the house. I suppose it is entirely my fault. I'm incredibly sorry. Fuck, I don't know. As long as everyone's okay, right? I don't know. I'd probably cry. TBH, that's me. Because I have anxiety. It'd be bad. Fuck, cry. A tear streaks down your cheek. Before you know it, you're crying. Both men look intensely uncomfortable, but Ford reaches out to give you a hesitant pat on the shoulder. Hey, look, it's fine. Sure, there's a dent in the hood from the shack signage and a crack in the windshield that looks like an ominous triangle, but I'm sure she'll still run. You try to start up the car. It sputters, but ultimately nothing happens. You feel like crying again. Oh. Well, let's call a tow truck for this unfortunate soul here and forget. I'll take care of it. You're right. It is cheaper to tow it yourself, Sixer. Get that magnet gun out again. No, Stanley. I'm going to fix this. What? Ha! You fixed this mess? I figured out a few alien vehicles in my time. Nah, you kidding me? It takes some sort of miracle worker to bring this baby back to life. This miracle worker's on vacation. Stanley, a moment. There they go! There they go! Ford and Stanley turn away, and you're left to your thoughts. Who could anticipate a car accident like this in the middle of a road trip? You can take care of the car, but how are you going to get home? They run buses out here, right? So you can take a bus out of here, and then... Ford clears his throat, shifting a little awkwardly in place. Seems like they finished their talk. So, there are a few options. My brother Stanley here could drive you out of town to find a place to stay for the night, or you could stay the night here. We have some maps and information you can look at in the gift shop, and in the morning we can help you with your car. What do you say? Just as you're about to answer, a high-pitched voice calls from inside the house. Grunko Stan, picture this! A whole week of... Oh my god! The girl that runs out of the house comes to a halt at the side of your car. Oh, great. Grunko Ford? Why is everyone automatically think I'm at fault? Well, this time it is my fault, but I've invited Deb here to stay with us for the night if she'd like. I'm sure I can fix this. I just have to figure out how. Stanley sighs. I can take a look. Being on vacation is pretty boring, and the old Stanmobile needed the tune-up yet, so it wouldn't be too bad to work on something in the meantime. Thank you, Stanley. I'm sure I can put something together from the gadgets I have laying around if you need specialized tools to help you with the job. And let me introduce myself. I'm Mabel. You can ask me anything. I pretty much know everything there is to know about this place. Wait, hold on. I haven't said anything yet. I appreciate your offer to let me stay. And to repair your car. Yeah, it'll be good as new in my hands. I mean, look at Stanmobile. She's been through the ringers who knows how many times, and she's still a beaut. He points out the red car parked at a distance away. You can't really see how beautiful it is at this distance, but he sounds really confident. Well, this turn of events is, I guess, fortuitous. Free repairs, free lodging. There's no better deal to be found, and if things don't work out, the town probably has some sort of auto repair shop you can head to instead. Well, I accept. Thanks for the help. And my apologies again. What an embarrassment. I must have made such an elementary mistake. Yeah. Give me a second here, folks. Sorry. I don't even know who's all here, but, whatever. As the Pines lead you inside the house, Mabel leaves her number in your phone for you to call whenever, and you find out that Ford's twin goes by Stan. This part of the house just outside the door is the Mystery Shack. Hey, have you been to the Mystery Shack before? I wanted to, actually. I saw a bumper sticker while I was on the road and got curious. You're interrupted by a loud triumphant ha! Those bumper stickers were a good investment. The sticker says they're too plain and graphically simplistic and don't have an address on them, Stanley. How was anyone supposed to find the place? Attract customer, Sixer. Did you hear that? Well, they are graphically simplistic. I don't know how she found the place, let alone the thought, what is the Mystery Shack, was compelling. I kind of liked it. Oh, hold on. Give me a second. Hello? Hello? I'm well. How are you? I'm 17. Scams. My god, love getting called for life insurance and then just lying. Okay. Anyway, sorry. See, she kind of liked it. Hey, I like you, Deb. How about I give you a tour sometime tomorrow, regular price? Tomorrow? Then I'll have to squeeze all my get-to-know-you questions in today. Deb, tell me, capybara, yes or no? Capybaras? They're so cute. At the moment, a boy passes in the hallway at the far doorway, and Ford calls out to him. Dipper, my boy, I'm surprised I didn't see you run out to the scene of the crime. Crime? What crime? I have an alibi, I swear. Oh, yes, I'm with you. I'm not suspicious at all. Did you guys see that car on the side of the shack, though? For a second, I thought the Manitors were back with a grudge. Yes, about that. Dipper, meet Deb. I've, stranded her car here by accident. She's staying here for the time being. Sorry, stranded her car here? You crashed it? Yeah, the S in the shack fell on it and everything. Windows cracked. One window. The windshield. And Deb was lucky enough to get out alive. She's fine. No injuries, thankfully. Magnet gun's rather safe despite never having been tested in a formal setting. Yeesh. Did you not, take safety precautions or anything? Actually, the irony of the situation was that I was trying to install a safety precaution. Hey, if you guys are going to do your nerd talk, I'm going to get Deb set up. Mabel, sweetie, why don't you show Deb around? Let her stay in the storage room. That's still empty, right? I'll make it empty. The rest of the day consists of Mabel showing you the storage room you'll be staying in, then the kitchen and the living room, and the hallway and the bathroom, and pretty much a comprehensive tour of the mundane danities of the regular house. Eventually you find out the family is more extended than you knew. The decorated doilies make a lot more sense knowing a grandmother normally lives here and her grandson Zeus. Or was it Zeus? Whatever the name. You look forward to meeting him and when he comes in for work tomorrow. When you go to the attic, Mabel opens the door to reveal Dipper, nose stuck in his book, but you catch him occasionally glancing up at you as he pretends to read. The next member of the family snorts up at you from Mabel's bed. A rotund pink pig, who Mabel declares as her best friend and partner in crime, waddles. The two are a perfect match, right down to the chubby cheeks and boopable noses. And in the evening, you'll still be in disbelief over the state of your car. The family dinner and after-dinner TV marathon you've invited to made it seem like a normal guest rather than a forced circumstance. Turning to the storage room Mabel had shown you earlier, you find an air mattress waiting for you, and more pillows and sheets than a summer night's warrants. You wake to the weak glare of sunlight streaming through the small high window in the wall. You can't remember your room having this kind of feature, or any hotel or motel room for that matter. And then yesterday comes crashing back to you. You glance at the time to see you've slept into the afternoon. Experiencing the accident yesterday must have left you tired out. Despite having been assured yesterday everything that you were free to, anything in the fridge, you still as though you're imposing on the Pines family and try to preparing as polite as a guest breakfast you can. You wash your dishes in the sink before you leave, and just as you're about to exit the kitchen, you bump into Ford. Yes, Jay, of course. For a good solid moment, Ford regards you in an awkward silence. Ford clears his throat. I believe Stanley's taking a look at your car outside, if you want to be there for it. You gave a nod, make to leave for real this time, when Ford speaks up again. And Dev, I'm sorry for the accident. If I'd been smarter let's just say it's entirely my fault. You shouldn't worry about this at all. When it comes down to it, Stanley does have a knack for cars. I predict you'll be back on the road in a matter of weeks. Weeks? You can tell the dismay off your face, and can't really bring yourself to try to either. What am I going to do with weeks? Ford, who'd gone kind of uncomfortable and closed off when your face fell, recovers at the prospect of a question he can answer. Well, there's a town to tour, of course, and the Mystery Shack. But if you ask me, it all pales in comparison to... Hold on, do you hear that? Ford turns to the kitchen doorway to investigate. Sounds like... Sound comes again, and this time you hear it as well. The squeal of a pig, followed by a pair of quick footsteps running down the stairs. Waddles tumbles past the open kitchen doorway, and Mabel comes into view short after, a few sheets of paper clutched in hand. Ford steps out of the kitchen, and you follow to the doorway, getting there in time just to see a apparent tug-of-war between Mabel and her pig over a saliva-covered sheet of paper. The paper rips and nearly topples backwards from her efforts, and Mabel recovers, snatching the scrap of paper from Waddles' jaws and lifting both pieces up victoriously. Ha ha! Mabel wins again! Now I just gotta find Uncle Ford! Ford, who had run forward and held a hand out to save this energetic child when she'd been in danger of toppling over, now finds a number of crumpled sheets of paper shoved into his hands. Mabel tugs urgently at his coat. Uncle Ford, you've got to help me! Ford kneels down to face Mabel with a serious, though concerned look. Slow down, Mabel. What's the matter? Dipper found a stack of your pages from your old journals, and I walked in, and Waddle ran up and he started eating one, and he must have chewed on it to start warning me, Uncle Ford, because look! Mabel takes the tabs of the paper back from Ford's hands and joins them together, holding it for Ford to see. I see. And you took it as a warning? Yes, it says here that it eats small dogs, and Waddles is a small pig. But he sort of looks like a dog from far away, and Waddles must have feared for his life. Waddles seems to second this notion with a snort, or not, as it seems the pig is lounging adorably at a short distance in the hallway. You can't imagine what this dangerous predator could be. Some kind of wolf? Something bigger? You're certainly not so keen on staying anymore. Remember the pterodactyl I told you about? Waddles was so scared that time I can't let him leave my side. Pterodactyl? You suppose pigs are allowed in museums around here? How about I finish that repellent I never got to around to completing? That'll keep Waddles safe from harm. Mabel flops on the floor in relief. Uncle Ford, you're an actual lifesaver. Waddles, you have nothing to fear. Ford chuckles, lifting himself off the kneel and standing back up. All right, I'll go get my recipe. There they go. Ford turns to leave, and you suddenly remember with nothing better to do for the weeks you're going to be here, it wouldn't hurt to get to know Ford. He seems to know what there is to do around town anyway. You need to not die of boredom in the first week. Or more pressingly, you could go check on your car and see what Stan's made of it so far. You're not exactly eager to face seeing your car in the side of the house again, though. What should you do? Let's get to know Ford. Ford, wait. Need help with that recipe? I can handle it myself. Are you sure you don't need a hand? Ford looks away from you, and he follows averted line of sight to Mabel, who's just mouthed something that you couldn't catch. When she catches you looking her way, Mabel gives you a 100-watt smile, the picture of innocence. Ford rubs the back of his neck. Yes, I suppose I can accept some help. Oh my god. Honey. And with that, assured that Ford is on task, you spot Mabel rolling away with Waddles into the living room. I love Mabel. She's the best. Before we get started, I suppose I should give you an introduction. Deb, tell me, do you believe in the supernatural? Yeah. Well, you're about to come face to face with the unexplainable yourself. You see, Gravity Falls isn't some quiet, unassuming backwater town, much more lurks below its surface. Ford pockets the crumpled journal papers and gestures for you to join him as he walks. You do, and follow him through the living room into the gift shop. For example, you must have heard Mabel mention a pterodactyl. Most would say none exist in this living world today, but I say not if you know where to look. Ford reaches under the cashier counter and retrieves a packet of vintage-looking gum, inspecting it for a moment before slipping into his pocket. He looks around in thought. Hold on to my explanation for a moment. I need to retrieve some supplies. Ford ushers you out of the gift shop entrance so you can find yourself on the outside of the shack. He then shuts the door behind you. Okay. Respect the man's privacy. He's clearly got business in that gift shop. You, correctly and politely, just stand there and wait until Ford returns. You may be scan the sky for a pterodactyl while you wait. Not too long later, the door opens behind you and Ford joins you outside, looking not different than before. He must have stored whatever supplies he went to retrieve in his coat, but the trench coat falls too naturally in his figure to be hiding much. Where were we? Ah, yes. Ford pulls out a pen and paper from his coat and walking as he writes. Just as you're about to head out, he stops and smacks his hand to his face. Oh shoot, 1 second. And there he go. Ford hurries back to the house, realizing he forgot one important component to this adventure. A butterfly net? Before you get a chance to ask, he strides out ahead of you, obviously no mind to tell you what it's for yet. Okay, Ford. The pair of you walk past the shack, down a well-worn path into the trees surrounding the house, sunlight peeking through the pines. Double-checks whatever he scribbled onto the paper and tucks it back into one of his coat's seemingly infinite pockets. He stops and turns to face you with a definitive nod. My recipe for repellent calls for a sprig of lavender, 2 thin slices of ginseng, a drop of bat blood, a chunk of amber, and 3.5 milliliters of ink. He pauses, staring down at the path of thought. Obviously, I have all those components on hand, all except for the last ingredient, a single moth's wing. From Mothman himself. Ford. Ford. You can't help it, you gasp. Ford glances at you and you think you see a hint of a smile before he turns back to the path and continues along, wind ruffling through his hair. You see, Mothman is the very creature on this page that Waddles seems to fear. Using a piece of itself should ward it away, or at least lead it to believe that Waddles isn't used for eating. I would have already completed the repellent years ago if I had managed to collect that wing. Was it too difficult? Oh, I just never got around to it. Besides, Mothman used to come bat at this lamp I had lit out in the backyard. It seems like such an innocent hobby that I never had the heart to chase it off. But if this brings Mabel and her pig a peace of mind, then the time has come to finish this. Sunlight filters in through the trees, causing dappled shadows across Ford's coat as he leads ahead of you. Break the silence? How do you know so much about this stuff? I study anomalies. Anything unusual, strange, and just plain weird. Began my research in this town because it was, and remains, a hotbed of paranormal activity. I made this exact trip years ago, though at the time I had no idea where I was going. It was just dumb luck I managed to tail the Mothman back to its cave from my backyard. Navigating the forest by moonlight is poetic but not advisable. I made plenty of other discoveries as well, from fairies to gnomes to amalgams of creatures who were never meant to cross to... wait! Ford reaches into his pocket and pulls out the slightly crumpled pages Mabel had pushed into his hand earlier, smoothing them out and shuffling through them. Take a look at these. They're more definitive proof than just my word. You accept the pages from him and find they're scanned pages from sort of journal, just as you heard Mabel say. Fluid cursive tells of Mothman, beard cubs, campfires, and more. Ford gestures to them, explains. I detailed my discoveries in a series of research journals, the remaining pages at least. I wonder where Stanley was keeping these. You drew these? Yes, of course. Who else? I've seen better. I really do like the line work in it. It's really good. I love your line work. My work now is far better, but I appreciate the compliment. Despite his understated words, Ford looks surprisingly pleased. Were any of these creatures ever dangerous? Oh, extremely. Some were worse. Dangerously annoying. Though Ford seems to find his own comment amusing, he doesn't fail to notice your unease. I do have weapons in case things escalate, so there's no need to worry. You brought weapons? Not many. I have a stun gun, my fists, and my sharp wit. I feel safer already. No, we're not going to bring this up. You must have gotten up to some crazy stuff. That's one way to put it. One took 6 years for me to get in over my head. He takes some silent moment to look away from your gaze, seemingly in a bittersweet remembrance. Ask him about the creatures. Oof. It says here that Mothman turns into a bunch of moths. You mentioned gnomes? Well, we said, you know what? I want to know about the pterodactyl. I doubt we'll spot it today, but perhaps we can go birdwatching later if you're interested. Ask him about creatures. Mothman. Yes, that's how we get the mothwing. Then why not use mothballs as repellent? Well, I've never tried. Could the most conventional method to be the unconventional one? Or would Mothman would be able to overcome its mothling nature and persist? There are floating eyeballs here? Sounds disconcerting, doesn't it? I once released them in my house by accident and found eyeballs in the most unsuspecting places for months. My guests chose not to comment on my choice of house decor. You know, me. Gnomes? Other places have rats, mice, or insects as house pets. We have gnomes. Picture your typical garden gnome, but more disturbing. Okay, Okay, let's ask about the magnet gun. I thought it would be prudent to leave its magnetic fields alone for a while until I have the time to optimize it. You see, I was trying to widen the area of the magnetic fluids, but it's been a while since I last worked with the gun. I need to re-familiarize myself with its inner workings. My guess is I switched the wrong wire or two instead of narrowed the beam. I'd like to see how it works sometime. Really? You know, if you're interested in devices like that, my old research colleague Fiddleford would have more to show you. He's the engineering genius around here. Okay. Grimoblin? Ah, a rare specimen I've steered clear of when accompanied by others. Oh, wait. Okay. Though if you want to see one in person, I'm sure it wouldn't hurt to walk into that situation again for the sake of education. Okay, let's walk in silence. Suddenly Ford puts an arm out in caution, slowing his pace. You narrowly managed not to collide with him. He takes a quick glance around to see nothing. Look, there! You see what looks like a bundled up plaid shirt moving along the forest floor. Wait, is that a beaver's tail? It looks like a a platypus. What are you doing all the way out here? Don't you mean a platypus? Ford shakes his head with a grin. I meant what I said. It's a platypus. A platypus. Me. This is the best. I love it so much. Ford moves into a crouch but stays at a respectable distance, following the small creature. You watch him, after a moment, mimic his actions. Ford's giving the creature a bright smile, the first of its kind that you've seen since leaving Mabel at the shack. You're a cute one, aren't you? And one of my favorite patterns, too. Ford motions for you to move a little forward a little more, to the distance he's maintaining. If I were to rate the oddities that live in this forest on a scale to least to most annoying, these little guys would get immunity. They have done nothing wrong, and I appreciate them for it. As the two of you watch in quiet appreciation, the platypus ambles into the underbrush and vanishes from view. What a cute little guy. Oh. Let's see. The two of you continue deeper into the forest. The foliage seems denser now, and you look through the treetops for a glimpse of the sun, which has now dropped low in the sky. It had already been getting late when you left, but you hadn't thought the Mothman would be this far out. Almost as though he'd read your mind, Ford answers for you. Mothman is rather reclusive, and as such lives deeper within the forest rather than bolder creatures like gnomes. Are you alright? Huh? That is, are you tired at all? I should have asked sooner. It's just been a long time since I've traveled with anyone new. Stanley tends to speak his mind without my asking. I mean, I'm lazy, but also I don't like the dark. I'm worried about getting stuck out here at night. I know these woods like the back of my hand. We'll make it back. At least I used to. It's been a while. You feel the opposite of reassured. In any case, we still have some time until sunset. Let's wait here in the meantime. You mentioned traveling with Stan? I suppose it wouldn't do any harm to tell you. He says that, but the tone of his voice says he's been dying to tell someone for months. I've been sailing with Stanley around the world, chasing after hotspots of anomalous activity. He seemed to view it as a vacation, but I saw the chance to back up some serious research. I've been rather eager to break the news of what I found in the world, but I must first organize my findings. And if I'm honest, I still need some time to get back into the swing of things. It must be strange to come back home after traveling so long, huh? More than you know. Ford laughs, shaking his head behind his glasses. His eyes are downcast, almost sad. You want to ask, but you decide to stay silent. The moment the sun touches the horizon, through the gaps in the treetops, Ford gestures for you two to continue. You hadn't noticed, but you've been resting within a short distance of a small clearing that holds that stone marker. The stone marker bears intricate swirls and carved into the surface. Ford reaches into his coat and produces the packet of gum from earlier, opening it and dumping the pieces out onto his palm. Gum? Thanks. Unsure of why you came all this way out here to unwrap gum at sunset, you accept a stick of gum. Ford puts the remaining gum in his coat breast pocket. He unwraps now the empty gum packet to reveal it was holding a small piece of parchment, folded up to act as lining. He smooths it out again against the stone, holding it under the deep orange-red light of the sunset. Take a step closer to look over Ford's shoulder. The parchment holds detailed drawing of the swirls carved into stone, documenting every crack and surface. As you watch, a golden cursive unfolds itself in the page, seemingly fueled by the sunset's warm light. Ford reads the words as they appear. Such a place the Mothman doth rest, but please do not disturb his nest. If kindness be something thou bereft. Ford lifts the parchment a little higher to prevent his shadow from obscuring the rest of the line. Follow thy nature and turn left. Bereft. Bereft. What's that fucking word mean? I always forget. Hold on. Give me a second. Bereft. Oh, if you don't, you're deprived of kindness. We should turn right. Something tells me that's not right. What do you mean? Oh, you know what? He's right. I'm sorry. I'm not into hurting Mothman. I'm not. Oh, fuck. Left leads you to a dimly lit cave, which Ford says he remembers well, except the last time he was here. It was pitch black, since he arrived in the middle of the night. From its depths, you hear the faint sound of dripping water, echoing off the cave's shrouded walls. You slow as your eyes attempt to adjust to the low light. Ford pauses in front of you, reaching into his coat for something. Hold on. I have flashlights in here somewhere. This cave has never reached much natural light, you see. Your image is further. You see a couple of dice, a pad of paper, a quill. You have some custom pocket work going on in there, too. You bet one of the coats in our pockets has a pen protector in it. Here we are. At last, allow me to. Darn it, out of batteries. Wait, I think I have one. You pull out your phone and turn on its flashlight. The light is small, but it does the job. Huh, you saved our hides, Devin. I was about to pull out a matchbook. Oh, Ford, honey. With your light guiding the way, you and Ford move further into the cave, which yawns wide around you, and it isn't until the sliver of natural light through the entrance disappears that Ford speaks again. It's been years since I've been here. Decades, even. At this point, but I'll always remember the eye bats as one of the first discoveries when I arrived in Gravity Falls. How did you find them in the first place? One got into my house, you see. I was making breakfast one morning. One managed to find my cereal box. When I poured the cereal into the bowl, it came fluttering out, agitated like it belonged there. The nerve! He still sounds so indignant, even after years, though. So you laugh. I wanted to contain it for further study, but unfortunately it managed to get away. As I thought about it afterwards, its pupil had constricted against the light, unfamiliar with the bright light in the kitchen, so either it's nocturnal or it lives in the deepest, darkest cave in the Gravity Falls. I found them easily after that. Did you manage to catch one? Somewhat. I came running through this cave with a butterfly net in my wits, and I brought a working flashlight that time. They all hid in dark corners, and once I turned the flashlight off, they flocked to me. I caught 18 of them that day, but it reminded me of the stealth uses of. The rapid sound of clicking claws against stone startles you. A shiver runs up your spine. The dark. You turn off your light. Ford taps your shoulder and gestures for you to keep moving forward. Eventually, the narrow passage widens into the large room. Darkness shrouds the source of dripping water from view, but as your eyes adjust, you squint to see a strange winged shadow. A shadow with eyes that glow red in near darkness like rubies. Your breath catches in your throat as the realization comes over you. Ford is apparently fairly close to you in this room. You find when he speaks a few inches from your shoulder. You catch the shadow of his arms swing out in the wide arch. He's introducing you to Deb, I'd like you to meet the Mothman. He whispers, but even in the dark, you see him grinning excitedly at you. Ford looks between you and the Mothman, apparently hoping for a dramatic reaction. Your speechlessness seems to satisfy him. Don't worry, he hasn't noticed us yet. Here's the plan. You make contact with the Mothman, and He pulls out a butterfly net in a large lidded jar. Now, where that one came from within his coat of mysteries is lost to you. We'll capture one of the 100 moths that will compromise it. I mean, you know. Wait, I get to touch Mothman? The Mothman? Yes, and it turns back into 100 black witch moths. It's like experiencing a swarm of locusts. Surprising when you're not expecting it. Remember, even just a light touch is just enough. You steel yourself awaiting Ford's signal. He waves his hand to coax you forward, and then it's up to you to decide how to, make contact. Approach with stealth. You tiptoe toward Mothman, remembering Ford's comment on the dark, trying to channel your inner stealth skills. Of course, that's the moment your phone decides to start blasting Taking Over Midnight by Sandra. You're confused before remembering that Mabel had her number to the contacts. It must have made her that custom ringtone. Mothman turns to the noise and screeches, but before you can barrel into it, the creature explodes into 100 moths, floating around you, getting stuck in your shirt and skittering all over your face, surrounding you in mothy hell. God! No! Your task accomplished! Ford rushes into a large swarm of moths, waving butterfly net with a few unsuccessful swipes. He tries spotting the more aggressive ones away, but there are too many. Oh my god. Teamwork. Run up to Ford and start swatting at those monsters with your bare hands. You do this. It's a bad idea. You know it's a bad idea. But what on earth were you supposed to do? No, you might kill one of them. Be careful. Turn that light on again. Oh, I fucked up. You do, and the swarm is instantly drawn to the light. You back away from Ford, step by step, until you're reasonably sure Ford's free from the mothy trap. Ford calls from where he is. I've got one. Turn on the light. Turn off the light. You turn your phone's light off. With no light and no threat to focus, the cloud disperses. That was amazing! Ford laughs, brushing dust and dirt off his coat. You could say that. Our compelled repellent is within sight. Let's head back. Ford turns to leave the cave. He looks calm and content. You, on the other hand, are buzzing with energy under an adrenaline rush. Should you go for a high five? Yes! Let's high five! You raise your hand in a universally understood offer of a high five. Ford pauses, blinking, and only gives an awkward forced smile before high-fiving you half-heartedly. When you and Ford finally reach the cave entrance, you find the forest that you left in the dying light is now awash with a silvery glow. A gap between the leaves overhead provides a view of the night sky along with a long string of stars. A few more steps and the Milky Way comes into view, looking as if a tear across the fabric of the sky. Ford notices you looking. See something? The pterodactyl doesn't usually come out this late, but being a prehistoric creature, its behavior is rather unpredictable. Haven't seen the Milky Way in a while. I've had a couple chances this summer. It looks stunning over a calm ocean at night. It's incredible up here. You both stare at the sky in the comfortable silence for a few moments. The quiet of the forest settles in, along with the distant sounds of flowing water. You find yourself surprisingly glad that Ford had accidentally pulled you here, if this is one of the moments you get to experience. Out of the corner of your eye, you swear Ford is looking at you instead of up, but when you tilt your head back or down, his attention is elsewhere. Eventually, the two of you come to a wordless mutual agreement to continue on. You're walking again. No. No more walking, please. You'll have to show me the other creatures that live here sometime. You're glad you said so when you look over and find that Ford looks pleasantly surprised to hear it. His chest puffs out with pride. Of course, maybe we'll even get to spot that hide behind or tag along with Dipper when he visits the multi-bear. I'm sorry, what? Ford taps his temple, grinning. You'll have to wait until I show you to find out. Aw, look at him! He's so happy! I'm holding you to that. We have some free time before we get back, if you're up for another walk. Ugh. You must make a face because Ford looks back to you and laughs. Me? We're not far, I promise. I just thought I might answer a few of your questions if you have any. Okay, I have questions. You must stay in great shape if you do this all day. Huh, actually this sort of thing isn't a part of my exercise regimen. Ford turns left at the stone marker and toward the center of the river, and you're sure enough, after a while, it comes into view. The moonlight illuminates the water as you walk along it. After following the river for a few minutes, the shoreline expands into a small round lake in the center of a clearing. Overhanging is a large flat rock, the kind that can be used as a less than effective diving board in times of emergency, being that one just had to jump into the lake. However, neither yourself nor Ford look in the direction of the diving board. He leads you towards the edge of the lake, where where a relatively flat boulder could substitute for a bench, and you two take a seat. Ask about other creatures. You said to wait, but can I at least get a preview of what I'm getting into here? Not content to leave them to discover yourself? Well, has anyone told you about the Gobblewonker? You snort, taking aback by the name, but compose yourself when Ford simply raises an eyebrow. I don't think so. Not even the tourist guide? Does the office even read my letters? Ford mutters to himself something about updating the tourist guide to warn against local dangers. He sighs with a frustration that's reserved for bureaucracy, but soon lightens up at the prospect of getting to introduce you to another strange creature. Well, the Gobblewonker is a large sea creature that lives in this very lake. One could say it's our very own version of the Loch Ness monster. My old research assistant apparently saw it at some point. He said it was a large gray scaly with a long neck like a giraffe. Ugh. You wouldn't have any odd sightings yet, have you? It's only been 24 hours, but my first encounter with the strange only occurred after my arrival as well. I mean, maybe? I saw Mabel stick a kitten-shaped stickers all over her face today. That must count as something. Ford laughs. I'll be sure to write that anomaly down once we get to the shack. About his family. What's Mabel like? In short, a force to be reckoned with. She radiates charm and positivity and has depths of determination I can only guess at. You'll find out for yourself, most likely. It's hard not to wake up one day and you find yourself your friend. Perhaps you already are. He wiggles his fingers in the air spookily and you laugh. I don't doubt it. Dipper! Dipper is very intelligent. In many ways, he reminds me of, well, myself. Last summer, he found the research journals I mentioned, and instead of overlooking them, he made some impressive contributions of his own. He has since made his own journal, and I look forward to see where his life will take him. He's made me prouder than I can say. Who is Seuss? Ah, the handyman, Seuss. Well, I'm not sure what he does exactly. Stan gave him the rights to conduct business with the shack, so he spends his day giving out tours, selling merchandise, fooling with townsfolk, and whatnot. Hold on, guys. I'm going to have to end this stream here. I have to take a call.